See if you're taking your kids to the cinema, do us a favour and bring a ball gag and some duct tape. Okay, you don't seem to understand, I will fight a child. See, you think I'm kidding, but the kid behind me was about 2 cries away from getting kicked up and down the aisle like a football. We all know the story of Monsters Inc, and if you haven't seen it, well then you're a crazy person and you need to stop what you're doing and watch it right now. This acts as a prequel and shows how Sully met Mike and became best friends. Yay! But before this we have the preceding short, The Blue Umbrella. If Pixar shorts came before anything other than Pixar movies, they'd be better than the film itself, and this one is particularly good. It follows an umbrella through New York City on a rainy night, and I never thought I'd become emotionally attached to an umbrella, but the animation is astounding, it's photoreal, and I know for sure the next time I use my umbrella I'm going to be like, I know what you're up to. It used to be that Pixar could do no wrong. Every single one of their movies was a stunning gem, and their dedication to story became legendary and the famous brain trust, something you could rely on. But then came Cars and Cars 2, where for the first time the studio felt cynical and almost for the purpose of only selling toys and merchandise. And last year's Brave wasn't exactly amazing. It's not that it wasn't good, it was just nowhere near as good as it should have been. So with this movie being a prequel to one of its most beloved stories, I was like, oh no. But I am so happy to report that this film is more like the early years and that Pixar are back to their own high standards. Is this film as good as Monsters Inc? No. But when Monsters Inc is one of the best animations ever, that's okay. This is Pixar's take on the college campus brand of humour. An interesting choice for a family studio, but they managed to pull it off well without some of the ruder or raunchier elements of films like Van Wilder or National Lampoon's Animal House. It will strike a chord with anybody who's in or anybody who's ever been in university or college, and there's plenty of cracking related observational humour. Every 5 minutes you'll be like, oh, did you see that? And of course the film is littered with Pixar in-jokes and Easter eggs. It never quite reaches Monsters Inc level of humour. There's plenty of laugh out loud scenes, but it's more charming than ha-ha funny. Having not actually been born yet, the absence of Boo leaves a lot to be desired. A huge selection of colourful new characters do their best to fill the gap. They're all great characters in their own right, and they're all very likeable. Charlie Day's art in particular is hilarious, but none of them have that touching spark that you get between Sully and Boo in the first one. There's a ton of references to the first film too. I particularly like how they managed to explain Randall's character with a total screen time of about 4 minutes. When you first see him in this film, he's lovely, and you're like, wait a minute, you're supposed to be an asshole, what could possibly make you go, ah, that's why. There's also nothing quite as exhilarating or as visually impressive as the final chase scene in Monsters Inc. Deliberately so, because the filmmakers here have obviously realised it'd be futile to try and top it, so instead we get a final act that focuses more on story and character development than out and out action. And it was a smart move because the final half hour of this film is one of the best endings that Pixar's achieved. It definitely does not go down the standard expected route, and the film has a really sobering message about how maybe that one thing you want more than anything else just isn't meant to be. It's not quite as brutal as the message behind The Incredibles, which is pretty much, guess what, you're not special, deal with it. But that's part of the reason why I love Pixar so much. Their films are true to life, and through all the candy coloured visuals, they don't sugarcoat the sentiment behind them. It particularly resonates with me because this is where I'm at in my life right now. Monsters Inc came out 12 years ago when I was a kid, and now I'm at university, and just like Mike, I've experienced that no matter how hard you study, no matter how many sleepless caffeine-fueled nights you spend with your head buried in a textbook, you just can't compete with the people it comes naturally to. Doesn't matter how hard you work for it, you don't get to live out your dreams because, well, life's a bitch. But at the same time, Sully, who coasts along in his natural talent and his family name, learns a lot from Mike about diversity, ambition and the value of teamwork. Overall, this film was brilliant. Not quite at the heady heights of Monsters Inc, but this film doesn't try to ape it. Instead it complements it sweetly and it adds extra layers to the relationship between Mike and Sully. Definitely 5 out of 5. Alright, thank you so much for watching my review of Monsters University. Did you see the film? Do you agree with what I was saying? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel so you can see some of my other videos, some of which will be appearing alongside the screen here. Make sure you also check out the video I've done alongside this review of my top 5 movie monsters. Maybe even Mike or Sully made the list. Find out by clicking right here. So happy to report that this film is more like the early years and that Pixar are back. I bit my tongue.